Last night, the top Republican presidential candidates faced off again. The latest debate hosted by the Fox Business Network.
Join us for the recap is political analyst Dallas Jones. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Oh, we knew that this was going to be a back and forth, didn't we, between Cruz and Trump? And it was.
Absolutely. What you saw were tremendous blows between Cruz and Trump. The highlights of the evening, Cruz accuses Trump of having New York values. Trump accusing Cruz of not being legally able to serve as president because of his Canadian birth. And so it was an interesting night.
So let's talk about proverbial punches that were landed here. Both of them seem to make some headway against each other with those two lines of attack.
You know, it's strange. I would say that both of them actually won the debate last night. They're neck and neck in Iowa, and this is what they're vying for. A real focus on again from Cruz around this whole new attack of him being New York values, really trying to court those voters in the South, getting ready for that South Carolina primary. And so he alludes to New York being pro-abortion and pro-guns, and I don't think he expected Trump's response. It was actually quite entertaining.
Or New Yorkers' response, really.
Or New Yorkers' response.
It was all over social media. They were blowing up, not happy about that.
Absolutely. That's not the best way to become president, I think, by just picking a state and insulting them like that. So we'll see how that strategy goes, but he stuck to it. And we can expect to see him stick to that over the next couple of weeks.
Okay, when they weren't picking on each other, it seemed like all the Republicans were picking on both President Obama and Hillary Clinton. Had a field day with them both, didn't they?
Absolutely. President Obama was front and center in this debate. I think with his polling numbers, approval ratings in the mid-40s, they feel as though it's enough to become an issue going into the general election. Meanwhile, those numbers are enough for Hillary Clinton not to run away from the president because he's extremely popular with Democrats, and she's trying to win that primary. And so, but he was very much alive in his post-State of the Union this week in last night's debate.
Don't have a whole lot of time here. Marco Rubio, kind of the number 3 spot, did fairly well, especially he seems to excel at foreign relation type conversations.
Meh, he did it.
Meh, he said.
he did okay, but I don't think that he did enough to move the needle. Let's be clear. There's a recent poll that was put out by the Wall Street Journal that shows that in a two-way race, Donald Trump actually beats Ted Cruz. Excuse me, Ted Cruz beats Donald Trump. In a three-way race, Trump wins because Rubio takes about 26% of that vote. So that's why you saw a big sparring going on between Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio to really try to suppress that and keep it a two-way race.
Okay, so who do you see taking Iowa?
I'd go with Cruz.
Cruz. All right, there you have it.
But that doesn't that is a suggestion of how voters lean. It's not it's not the be all and end all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Plenty more to talk about further on down the road. Dallas Jones, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you.